Maybe it'll be Guinness and an ice bath simultaneously.
Now we're talking. No. You just keep it just below the water level just to keep it ice cold.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Birdie Golf Club podcast. I tried to go big there, but as you can tell, I am suffering with a bit of a cold and my voice is completely gone. So I'm going to keep things very short today. We're going to throw pretty much straight to the episode that I was able to record with Daniel Fitzpatrick from Play Better Golf. And what they do at Play Better is basically gather all of the technology, all of the golf equipment you're going to need to play better golf this year and every year. And he was at the PGA show. He's able to give us a full lowdown on all of the equipment that caught his eye, that he thinks is going to be huge in 2026, as well as beyond that, as well, with themes that were taken from the show of where golf is heading. Stuff that might seem absolutely mad right now to think about, but who knows, in 5-10 years' time could just be part of everyday life as a golfer. So Daniel was great joining me. We run through everything. The golf technology, the shape of the golfing future. I've said that already. I'm delirious. I've got a cold. I'm going to throw it to the episode with Daniel. As always, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Make sure to hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a single episode. Let's throw it to the episode with Daniel Fitzpatrick from Play Better Golf. So you needed some well-earned rest by the sounds of it.
Definitely. I'm fresh to go though.
So was this one of your first times attending, or have you been before in previous years to the PGA show?
Yeah, so this was actually my 15th PGA show.
Wow.
I've been kind of on every side of it, all the way from a PGM student to a PGA associate professional, as an assistant golf professional, and then as an exhibitor, and now on the retail side of things. So been able to kind of touch every avenue of the show now, finally, after 15 years.
Yeah, it sounds like you were pretty well sort of like rehearsed in how it goes. The building, I've never been, obviously, and I know the scale of it is insane. And the one thing that people seem to always say about the PGA show is you cannot put it into words how big it is. Can you put it into words quite how big it actually is for the listeners, the PGA show?
It's as simple as the Disney World of golf. I mean, it literally is. It's. I like to tell people it's 3 days long for a reason. You definitely can't see everything in one day. Just like they say at Disney World, you're not going to see it in one day. You're right. It's honestly mind-boggling how many opportunities there are to touch different areas of the world of golf and see different things. And I've seen it go from massive in 2011 down to getting smaller scaled right after COVID, and we're back to booming again. So the evolution of the show has even changed in this time frame as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And now, obviously, your role with Play Better. Where did Play Better come from? What's the sort of like genesis of that brand and everything that you do there?
Yeah, so Play Better really originally started, selling like rangefinders and just getting into golf tech, and we've really exploded onto the scene as golf technology has evolved. So as consumer launch monitors have become more available and more affordable, really, we've really grown our target market and our offerings to consumers. Even just 5 years ago. There were really 3 or 4 main players in this side of the business. And now there's maybe 15 or 20 competitors competing for, having that consumer launch monitor that everybody wants. It's a great time to be a golf consumer because you have options, and that literally is priced anywhere from extremely affordable to extremely premium. So it's a really good time to be a golf consumer. As the golf business booms, so is the tech side of things.
Yeah, it sounds like the way things are going, there's just going to be something for everyone. You're always going to have the people that are going to want the GC quads, but then you're also going to want somebody who can just put something down when they're at the range to get a little bit more targeted sort of numbers and everything like that. Is there anywhere when you go, and obviously the layout probably changes year on year, but is there somewhere you make a beeline to, a specific spot you want to get to first to kind of see what's going on that year?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I typically like to navigate towards that equipment test center or like the driving range portion of the show floor. There is a few tech companies that will post up there, but then you also get the chance to test all the new golf clubs before they really get worn in before the week gets going. Um,
Heads
but
start
all
flying off.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. We usually have pretty coordinated attacks on the show to to get to certain areas fast. So especially with whatever new product we feel might be the biggest one, so we can get some
Mm,
content out on it right away. But yeah, I really love the fact that they still do the ETC or the equipment test center area of things to actually get that real driving range experience with some of these products right away.
yeah, and there's an inside and outside area at the show. Is that right? It sort of appears to be the
So
case.
yeah, so on Tuesday of the week they have what's called Demo Day, which is at Orange County National. It's the largest golf driving range in all of North America. It's the second largest in the world, I believe, still to date. And it's 360 degrees driving range. So there is vendors set all the way around, from club companies to tech companies to golf cart companies to push carts
Mm,
to energy drinks. I mean, it's truly anything that has anything to do with golf is out there as well. And as a golfer and also as someone who sells this technology, it's vital because it may be the only opportunity we get to test some of these things on an actual driving range.
yeah,
Because most of these, when you get to the show floor, you're testing them in an isolated, golf simulator experience. So it's nice to be able to hit both sides of these products that have that indoor outdoor versatility, so we can get that feedback to our potential customers.
yeah, absolutely. Is because obviously some people's hang-ups with golf equipment is that it's cyclical in nature, right? And that it has there been really big advancements year on year. Was there anything from the show this year, maybe when it came to equipment, that really blew you away? That was just like, that's a big leap. Was there anything like that came across your desk?
I mean, as far are you talking like golf clubs or are you talking
Yeah,
technology wise?
maybe golf clubs. Yeah, yeah,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head. I feel like they're getting to a point with golf clubs where it's kind of difficult to make game changing evolutions or changes that are gonna get you 50 extra yards of distance. I think those times are long gone.
yeah,
But I do think they've made minor adjustments in forgiveness and making, honestly, as a golfer, I shy away from some of that because we're not able to curve the golf ball as much as we used to and get as creative as we once used to
yeah.
from trouble. So I think there's good and bad that comes with a lot of the forgiveness in these golf clubs.
Mm,
But it opens the ability for more golfers to be successful on average, which is, consistency is key, right? So
yeah,
I came away really impressed from the guys at Callaway and even some of the new stuff with Titleist with the new SM11 wedges. So yeah, I think that they've got some big years ahead with the products that they're bringing out. But in total, it's not something that's going to be um, earth shattering that completely changes the entire market. I'm not seeing anything there just yet. Now, with the evolution of AI and where things could go, maybe we'll see something that's got different shapes or different thought processes with how these
yeah.
golf clubs are built in the future. But it was overall a pretty, I hate to say it, but it was a pretty standard, PGA show release with golf clubs. I didn't find anything that was really mind boggling like we did on the technology side of things.
In many ways, for golfers, it's maybe a bit of a relief that that's the case because it saves them maybe reaching into their wallet for another year. Maybe just keep going with what
Right.
you've got, unless you have to. I did see the SM11s, and they looked chunky, not at the sort of not the top line or anything like that, but the actual like the ferrule and everything like that just looked like a industrial almost in the way it's been put together. Is that something that you noticed with it as well? Just the whole build itself just seemed
Yeah,
More
they
solid.
looked almost a little more rugged as opposed to being the
Mm,
sleeker look that they did, with even the 10s, 'cause I actually play the SM10, so I did think they looked a little more rugged, not quite as sleek, but they definitely had a slightly different feel to them. And again, they're everybody's getting into more of these lower launching, higher spinning type wedge
yeah.
shots, and they definitely capitalize on that. So,
Mm.
obviously, they're listening to their tour players and what they want and trying to get that into the consumer's hands.
Yeah, which is fun. Okay, well that's cool on the equipment side. Obviously, there's always going to be some funky looking clubs. Like I've seen some reviews of some interesting looking sort of like center shafted drivers and things like that because it is a play around as well, isn't it? With a lot of these things and sort of can somebody shift a few of these fun novelty clubs and things like that. But that's not going to be for the majority of golfers, right? That's just kind of they kind of know they sit in that very niche target
Yeah,
audience.
definitely. And I mean, I'm sure we'll get somewhere with 3D printing, and I'm sure that will evolve as well. I think, some of the stuff, even the new Cobra putters, we're starting to dip into that a little bit as well. So definitely some stuff you can see things kind of like they're just kind of dipping a toe to get a feel for things and see
Yeah.
how it does. But yeah, I can certainly see how that can evolve as time goes on.
Yeah, I don't know whether you saw them at the show, but I actually play a runner putter, and that's a modular design, and yeah, quite unique, quite a unique look. But the performance is really cool, and I think, like you said, we're definitely going to see more engineered quality items that are maybe with that modular sort of performance, 3D printed, whatever it may be coming, maybe in 27, maybe in 27,
Yeah,
more
I mean,
stuff
it's
like
possible. Yeah, it's
that.
it's like sometimes it blows your mind what they can come up with in such a short amount of time, right?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So moving on to more of the tech side of things was, I think maybe with something like this, with this show, you see maybe a theme. I know certain ones in the past, there's been a theme of progress, and that tends to run throughout the show. What was the biggest theme when it came to technology improvements for golfers in 2026 from the show?
Yeah, there's definitely seems to be, and rightfully so. There definitely seems to be a lot of chatter around introducing AI, and especially
Right.
with coaching aspects of your golf game, with almost all of these high players in the launch monitor world. The Unicore team released some really impressive software that just
Okay.
takes a simple swing video and actually analyzes your entire golf swing and can teach you a golf lesson right there on your computer.
Wow.
So with each swing, it can find different tendencies and different things with just a simple video and a little bit of data from your swing. Um, the technology on that blew me away alone, with just how simplistic and user friendly it was. I mean,
Mm.
we actually made a pretty cool social media video with this, um, and it was an eye opening experience for me. It was some of the coolest software I've ever personally used, if not the coolest. Just for the fact that I could see myself actually buying that and hitting like shot after shot after shot and
Yeah.
just trying to analyze every aspect of my game. And that they weren't alone. There was a few similar type of AI incorporations, even with the FlightScope team and how they're incorporating AI into their smart gapping, with the ability to then have the virtual caddy on the golf course with their rangefinder options. So
Mm.
I think that's something that's also starting to catch on and becoming a tendency is that the rangefinders are following that Bushnell and FlightScope model of basically having a virtual caddy and being able
Hmm.
to use your launch monitor data that you practice with and then bring it onto the course to select the right club for every shot that you hit. So we're starting to see where they're pairing practice with real-time gameplay. Obviously, that's something you can use in a golf tournament or competition, most likely,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
but something that can really enhance your practice rounds and can help you visualize um, basically play through that shot and think of everything, because we as amateur golfers, we don't approach a golf shot like a professional golfer does.
Mm.
And we don't always have someone there as a caddy to ask us some of those questions. So to be able to practice like a pro with that virtual caddy, I mean, I've seen improvements in my golf game already with devices like that. So it makes you change the way you get yourself around the golf course, which I find is really interesting.
Yeah, that's a like fascinating development because I was talking to David Hunter, who's CEO of ShotScope, and I was talking to him and I said about AI, and my literal question was, "Are we going to see AI caddies?" And his answer was interesting. His answer was he thinks AI is great and it has its place, but as far as he can see, it will always be used to enhance the people that already make this game great. So, in other words, the caddies that are already there and everything like that. But he just didn't see it being able to take into account certain things that we can with feel and touch on a golf course. So it's interesting because maybe he's come away from that show because this was and they weren't looking into that sort of kind of thing, I think, right then. But he might have come away from that show and thought, wow, 3 months ago, I didn't think that was something that could happen, but that's just how fast AI is moving, right? In this sort of world, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see how, teaching professionals or club fitters could be, eager to push back on it because it feels like
Mm,
maybe someone's gunning for their job or something.
sure.
But I actually look at it in a different way. I actually think it can help them be more efficient and be able to get
Yeah.
more out of a lesson or out of a club fitting by eliminating things that may not be necessary in a club fitting scenario per se. Like, it may help eliminate, shafts and club heads that don't even need to be tried by that user because AI can push through some of that data faster than the human can. So,
Yeah.
I'm probably more of the other side where I'm kind of trying to pull it in as much as I can to see how it can make us just more efficient in those scenarios.
Yeah, I think that does fit along the same lines as what maybe he was saying, that empowering of the professionals that are in the game, which is awesome, and if it can do that and speed up the process for the consumer as well, then well, time is money. It's
Right,
it's certainly going to
exactly.
help, right? We we'd all like to get better a little bit faster at this game. So if AI can help with that, then that's it. That's a huge win. One thing that I observed just from afar was the amount of progress that seems to be made on the launch monitor front. Was that pretty evident at the show as well on one of the centerpieces?
Definitely. I think this year we had more new products than we have in the past couple of years, and some
Mm,
of these products we were seeing were actually some of these companies' first launch monitors to get into the space.
mm,
So that was exciting because these are companies that have long history of successful products in the space, and now they're trying to get into that launch monitor portion of things. Even so, like I was mentioning before, so they can get some of that data, maybe to push it to their
mm.
rangefinders or other devices to help try to make a full suite of
Right.
products that complement each other.
Interesting. So more of like an integration sort of setup
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly. Especially with like the ShotScope products and the Blue Tees products, they've traditionally
Mm.
been GPS or rangefinder type companies, and now to see them get into the launch monitor market is certainly encouraging, just because of how well regarded they are in their previous product lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think with the ShotScope one, the LM1, they were talking about obviously the fact that it integrates with the app, and all the data that it can do. Was that one of those products because of its price point as well that's just was in high demand for people just to get their hands on it and see what it was like at the show?
Oh, 100%. We actually had to wait in line just to get our hands on
Really?
one, and it was a very busy booth. Yeah, I think it's got a very much its own spot in this market, because of the device that it is. The built-in screen is beautiful. It's easy to read. I think it stands alone and opposed to other radar products because it doesn't require as much space as some of its
Mm.
competitors are going to. But even so, it's just technically savvy enough and just simplistic enough that I think it's gonna be really successful. I told many of our colleagues I actually believe that we'll get people who will buy permanent simulators, and then they're going to add in this LM1 as an add-on because they can just take that little portable device to the range and get yardages before they go play, because maybe they're, maybe they're playing a different golf course or a different location they're used to playing. They can get some numbers right there on the driving range. So I see it as, it may not be a user's only launch monitor that they buy. Um,
Mm.
but I came away very impressed from that product. It looks cool. It feels nice. It's nice, lightweight, and portable. It's something that I can easily fit into my golf bag and not even realize that it's there if I'm carrying my bag around the course. So that's certainly enticing to me as a consumer.
Yeah, it's almost like a gateway sort of launch monitor, isn't it, for people? Because I'm thinking I'm going to set up a hitting net in my back garden, and you know, easiest thing is just to have something I can just pop down. At least I'm hitting shots with actually some feedback, and then I can equally take it on the course with me if I want. If I'm playing a practice round, just to kind of dial in some stuff. And like you said, just that portability with it is really cool. And I know there was a lot of products that were focusing on sort of portability, like the Blue Tees products and everything like that as well, and kind of getting golfers that previously I'm guessing wouldn't have been interested in launch monitors because of, you know, the lowest price points being your 5, 6 sort of £100 mark. And is that really worth it? I could just buy a secondhand set of irons, and golfers have to spend their money on something, right? They're
Right.
gonna weigh it
Yeah.
up.
And I think part of it too is, in the last few years, at least here in the US, we've seen that membership or even local, venue that has multiple, simulator bays that you can go and even rent a space for a half hour. And for some people, that's sufficient. But, as these launch monitors become more affordable now, like you said, it's kind of a gateway. People are like, well, now I can afford one myself. We talked about it in the industry a lot. It's kind of been a race to the bottom of price point, and
Mm.
now these two new products, with the Shot Scope and the Bluetooth, are kind of setting a new benchmark of expectancy for consumers.
ShotScope is the tool that you don't have in your bag yet, and the one that you need. Whether you like wearing a watch on the course, whether you like using rangefinders, whether you just like having the tags on your clubs to know your distances, ShotScope gives you all of that. Before using ShotScope, I was unaware of the best parts of my game and the worst parts of my game, but using their watch and their rangefinder has enabled me to work out where I need to improve, using shots gained data to accurately see where I can improve. And I want that for you too. So if you use the code Birdie Golf Club on the ShotScope website, that will get you 15% off the entire range. So make sure to head to the checkout, put in whatever ShotScope product you want, enter code Birdie Golf Club, and you will get yourself 15% off. It helps support the podcast and can help improve your game. I'm cold, you're cold, winter golf is very much here, so let's dream of a better place. Or even better than dream, let's go to a better place. If you use code Birdie Double Points at Golf Escapes, it will get you double escape points on your next trip. And you can book a trip, be away in the sunshine, enjoying the beautiful weather, the fantastic golf and beautiful amenities of some of their incredible hotels that they have listed. Golf Escapes will handle the whole thing. They'll set the entire package up and you can enjoy every single moment without a worry. I used Golf Escapes to book my trip to East Sussex National recently for just a brief break, and everything was handled perfectly, to my golfing for the weekend, to my wife enjoying a beautiful spa treatment whilst I was out on course. Peace of mind, just a fantastic experience and a great team over at Golf Escapes. Head over there now, use code Birdie Double Points to get yourself double escape points on your next trip. Do you think that's the lowest price point it can realistically go to for the tech that's involved, or do you see it just dropping further and further from there?
Yeah, I do. I don't think that we can get much lower, especially if we're going to talk about capabilities of being able to play simulator golf with it, at least as of right now, because of what it costs to put into these devices and what you want to make them. Obviously, the biggest thing is accuracy, and everybody's going to compare it to a TrackMan 4 or a GC Quad,
Of course.
because that's what they feel is the standard. So even if I'm only, investing a couple $100, I'm going to be in the mindset that I want it to be that accurate, even if it feels crazy to say that. That's what the expectancy is, and believe it or not, a lot of these devices are coming out and they are as accurate. So it's a really fun time to be on this side of the industry, and kind of see these companies jockey for position, to try
Mm,
to see how they can position themselves to be the best producing product, but also the best, the most accurate product at the same time.
exactly. And were you able to test these sort of lower sort of budget sort of launch monitors as well to test the accuracy of them whilst you're there, the blue tees, the shot scope, etc.?
So they didn't have any hitting bays set up to test their products at the show. They kind of just had their prototype or early models there available for demo mode, just to hold them and look at them. But as we get closer to release date, we are going to have internally some demo units to test out. So we're obviously looking forward to that. The new Square Omni launch monitor was on display for testing,
I
so we
saw
were
that
able
one.
to test
Yeah.
that. That product, I think, could be, as far as simulation and everything goes, that could be the launch monitor of 2026. I do think that
Really?
checks all the boxes. The biggest thing for them is going to be if they can keep people supplied, because they've had a little bit of history of not being able to keep stock available, which is a
Right.
good problem to have at the end of the day.
Mm.
But it's a lot harder to sell something if you don't have something to ship. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That can be a bit of an issue, right? What was the biggest thing about the Square that made it so impressive compared with
I,
sort of the other higher
first
end
thing,
sort of launch monitors?
yeah, the first thing that blew me away was the way it looks. It looks modern. It looks like a
Mm,
cool piece of technology to me. But the amount of data that comes packed inside of it for its price is really unmatched. Um, to be able to get face impact location, all D plane club data, as well as it being a camera system. So the only amount of room you need is to, have room to comfortably swing your golf club.
mm.
Really makes it difficult to sell against, if you're asking me, especially since they have no required subscription. So they're kind of checking all the boxes, with one device. So, and it has a built-in display. So even if you take it to the range, it shows 5 metrics right there on the actual device itself. So that's really cool in itself. And again, that's why I think it looks like a cool piece of technology. It looks really modern. But again, time will tell as if we can keep stock, because we've already gotten a lot of inquiries, surrounding that device itself.
Yeah, bit of a problem if you can't then actually give it to people, right? That's that's an issue. That is an issue. I also noticed,
Yeah.
sort of moving away from the launch monitor side of things, I noticed that there was quite a big emphasis on health products as well when it comes to health and lifestyle products. There seemed to be a lot of your saunas. Sort of, I saw an ice room. I don't know if you got to try that out. That seemed crazy.
I didn't check out the ice room, but you're definitely right on the fitness side of things. And I kind of joke with people, like, I feel like golf is moving as like the majority of all of us kind of age. We're all sitting here thinking like, man, we need to start worrying about our health. And it's like this generation of golf professionals is all of a sudden like, oh, we need to start getting really healthy. So there's actually like a full section of the show now that is health and wellness products.
Right.
And it's everything from, gym equipment all the way to, like energy drinks that are healthy for you in the mornings, to ice baths and ice chambers like you're talking. So it's funny to me how big that umbrella actually spreads with the PGA show floor. And it's a reason why that show floor is so large.
Mm.
But it's certainly an intriguing part of the golf industry that's expanding rapidly, especially as the professional players emphasize their health and their nutrition so much. It's trickling down into the consumer golfer as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long it's going to be before it's like normal to play around a golf and then hit the ice bath and the sauna afterwards. And it's just, I mean, it seems mad right now. I think of my local golf club, and the normal routine is to go and get a pint of Guinness, and that's how you finish a round, which I don't think it can be beaten. But I'd love the idea of that just being the norm at some point, which maybe that's where we're heading. Who knows? 5, 10 years time, that could be that could be normal.
That could be the standard, yeah, it's like a maybe it'll be Guinness and an ice bath simultaneously.
Now we're talking. Now. You just keep it just below the water level just to keep it ice cold.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
would be very, very nice. Actually, I think you're onto something there, Daniel. I think
There
you're
we
onto
go.
something. And obviously, there's the section of the show as well. I'm not sure of your interest level in it, but obviously, like the apparel section of the show is golf fashion is huge now. Probably it's the most self-aware it's ever been as an entity, isn't it? The golf fashion space, and that must take up a huge amount of the show as well.
Oh, 100%. I actually think that's probably the biggest area of the show is all of the different apparel companies and not just apparel, but even like leathered accessories and things that golf clubs will want to sell in their pro shop and little things like that. I think that part of the show has evolved and is the largest part of that PGA show. Especially for local PGA professionals, it's still when a lot of them do all of their ordering or make their pro
Right.
shop decisions of what they're going to fill their shop with for the year. It's definitely not something that we shop around for a lot, personally, but
Mm,
it is something I still like to take a look at to see,
of
maybe
course.
something I can pick up to take home with me because some of these places they do sell product right there on the show floor. So, I'm typically sourcing new belts or new nice hats or things that I'm not typically able to find because I don't have a lot of retail shops around me. I do try to take advantage of that just for my own personal collections.
Did you? I saw one that was a cowboy hat stand specifically for golf. You pick yourself up one of those, or did you leave that this year? Save it for next year.
I do come from a farm in Iowa, but we are not traditional cowboys. So I try to stay away from the leathered goods as much as I can. I don't pull them off quite as well as some of those guys were there. There was definitely an increase in a lot of that type of stuff, though. I think that style is coming back. Fashion
Yeah,
is a cycle, so a lot of that stuff is cycling back into the.
yeah. I'm learning. I'm learning from these younger lads now that are basically wearing clothes that I would have been embarrassed wearing when I was their age, but now it's cool. So
Yeah, that's the
I
thing
don't
you want to wear, man.
know. I'll just follow them. I'll just follow them. Try and stay young.
I'm with
Which
you.
is all. So I'm gonna ask you now, Daniel, for something might be quite tricky, but have you got sort of for people that were there, people that were not there, whether they've seen it or not, have you got like 5 products that when you look back on the show really stick out as being your top 5 sort of 2026? This is what it meant for golf.
Yeah, definitely. I think we touched on a few of them already. I do think this Square Omni launch monitor and this ShotScope LM1 launch monitor are really going to change the game of the technology side of things. The other piece of technology that I really thought was impressive was the Garmin J1 watch, which is a watch that's specifically designed for junior golfers. It's a
Oh,
smaller
cool.
size and it has specific software that they've developed to kind of help juniors like golf more. So the watch actually packs in an opportunity that is similar to Operation 36, and I'm not sure if you've heard of that before.
No, no.
But it's basically instead of a junior teeing off from maybe the most forward tees, they after it learns their skill level, it might say, on this hole, instead of teeing off from the forward tees, actually move up to where you're 150 yards from the green, and it's going to play as a par four. And so it will
Yeah,
guide them around the course so that way their skill level is incorporated and it makes golf fun for them. Then,
yeah,
as they get better, it stretches the golf course out slowly. So it's almost like it's starting their baseline of difficulty really low and then enhances the difficulty as their golf game goes on. It also teaches them about proper pace of play. It has like some really nice guidelines on ensuring that they're playing the holes in a certain amount of time, and it even adjusts the par level of each hole based on their skill levels. So it completely
cool.
changes how juniors will play golf. And also, I think it gives them guidance on not to be too overwhelmed once they get on the golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, my son's only 5 at the moment, but in a few years' time, He'll be his first sort of trips out onto proper golf courses, and I guess anything that can make it a little bit less intimidating, but equally make a junior kind of feel like they've got the same thing that the adult golfers have got as well, right? They've got the,
Right.
you know, yeah,
Right, it
that's
makes them
cool.
feel included, and the other thing too is that it's that specific size, so it's not like something bulky that they have to wear on their wrist. It's not going to impede, but then it comes preloaded with all the golf course, GPS data, just like the other Garmin watches do. So I think it's a really unique product that ultimately what we're all here for is to grow the game of golf for our juniors, and they've directly done that. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be really successful along with that Square Omni and the ShotScope LM1.
Yeah,
Um, Outside of that, there certainly was a lot of software enhancements and things like that, but I was really impressed even um, with the new Garmin G82, the handheld GPS, the slash launch monitor,
hmm,
as well as the new ShotScope handheld GPS that they released as well.
yeah,
Which it's funny to kind of sit here in 2026 and be impressed by handheld GPSs because
sure.
we all have cell phones and and it's all capable of doing that in today's world. Um, but I actually came away really impressed by these devices just because of the difference in clarity and functionality that they have without
Sure.
any required subscriptions. And then the other part is that um, I actually hate the fact that when I'm using my phone, my battery dies fast. I use up all of my data coverage. So it eliminates that problem at a low entry cost. So it's something that's actually really cheap to add to my arsenal, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything that can move you away from your phone on a golf course is just a huge win,
Yeah,
because I mean, for golf, you have to concentrate quite a bit, and you can be taken out of that concentration so fast if you get a message of like not even something important, but just something that takes you out of that moment. So I love these kind of technologies that are as simple as a scorecard holder in the essence of the fact that it's removed from everything else. And that's,
100%. Just like you
yeah,
said, though, avoiding, having those distractions or having those little things that can pull you away from concentrating on your round of golf. I'm all for it, and I think they've hit the nail on the head. With both of these type of products that, like we said, I mean, it may not be the most popular want right now, but I think once people see how well they work, it's going to be a revolutionary product for everybody.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Danny, thank you very much for running us through the PGA show. I'm hoping one year I'm going to get out there, and see it for myself and sort of try and take it all in, and probably only manage a quarter of it. It reminds me of when I went to Ephesus once in Turkey, and I took in. There's a top. I don't know if you've ever been there, but there's essentially a whole top section of it which is ruins and I thought, oh, this is amazing. This is fantastic. And I spent probably 2.5 hours up there trying to work out all these little details that were there. And then went round the corner and realized that that was just basically the hallway entrance to the whole thing. And the steps went down, and there was a giant coliseum, and everything was still in its place. And I had about 20 minutes left before the coach picked me up to take me back to the hotel. So that's going to be me at the PGA show one day, where I take in about 10% of it, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And even like Wednesday, you would see guys who you could and ladies who you could clearly see were in their first time there, and it's like 4 o'clock and the show's kind of winding down for the first day, and you're kind of at the centered entrance where you can go left to all of the technology and equipment, or you can go right to all of the apparel and accessories. And you see these people who've come from one side or the other, and then they kind of look like, oh, we just spent the entire day and only saw like one third or one half of the show floor. And then they're like, holy cat, like it's almost like they've realized that they got lost, navigating part of it and realize that there's a whole nother
Oh,
half of the show they get to explore. So it's always cool to see that. And honestly, this year the attendance had to I guarantee you if we see the numbers, the attendance was certainly up.
yeah.
It was great to see the show floor full of people again. It's been a great evolvement. I think golf is in a great spot right now.
Oh, it's absolutely booming. And that must be exciting for you guys that play better as well. What are your things you're most looking forward to in 2026 for the company?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we've talked about is capturing the momentum that we can feel right now.
Mm.
I think for us, the PGA show is the end of one year and the beginning of a new one. We get to sit back and kind of reflect on our past year and celebrate that. But then we also get to refocus and re-energize for all of the things that are new coming to the golf industry. So for us, it's going to be, like we said, capturing that momentum, harnessing that energy, and trying to see how we can stick out. Because in today's consumer world, you can honestly go to 20 different places to buy your golf technology, but we need to find a way to where we can make that buying and even post buying experience frictionless. And that's what we're really concentrated on, is trying to make that user experience a 5 star from the moment they click add to cart until the moment they hopefully come back to purchase their next product from us.
Awesome. Well, I think what you guys do is awesome. I thank you so much for giving your experience of the show as well, because me in rainy England wasn't able to enjoy it, so it is what it is. But I really
Yeah.
do appreciate it, Daniel.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you having me on. And yeah, it was for the first time in ever, like solid weather in Orlando. Usually it's freezing cold and
Yeah,
rainy, and it's just not a fun week to be outside. But we were really fortunate this year to have good weather. And obviously, I think that helps the attendance as well and puts everybody in a positive mindset going through the show floor. Because yeah, everybody's a little happier when it's 70 degrees walking in than when it's 40 degrees. So
yeah.
it's certainly rewarding to be able to come on to experiences like this and just share, what the week was like and what our outlook looks like for next year.
Absolutely, yeah, and the exciting things that golfers can put in their bags, ready to go and shoot, hopefully, their lowest scores, and hey, play better. Let's hope.
Exactly. That's what we're all here for.
Absolutely. But thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate your time.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.